Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today we're going to talk about Ethereum and we're going to be looking at summer prospects. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Let's go ahead and jump in. So we've discussed Ethereum in depth for quite a while on this channel. And one of the reasons that a lot of times it tends to do really well at certain phases of the year is because, well, at other phases it might not be doing as well. And we've discussed this last year and we discussed it the year before, that in general, not all the time per se, or not on any given day maybe, but in general, the ROI of Ethereum, the 90-day ROI, buying in the summer, tends to be the worst. Okay, so buying Ethereum in the summer usually yields the lowest 90-day ROI as opposed to buying it any other time of the year. Now, again, if that doesn't make you feel good inside, remember, don't take it up with me, take it up with the data. I'm just presenting the data, I'm just showing you what it says. And what do we notice when we look at the chart? This is discretized monthly going back several months. What do you notice? Well, you can see that it tends to dip down in the summer. It tends to dip down in the summer, and that the outer parts of the year, the outer months, like early part of the year and then the later part of the year, they tend to do better in terms of the 90-day ROI. Okay, so that the return on investment of Ethereum over the next 9 months or over the next 3 months from when you bought it. And what you'll notice when you look at the chart is there does tend to be a lull in the summer. It's not always perfect, and sometimes it can extend even further out, but you'll notice that on the outer months, it tends to go back up. So early in the year and then late in the year. Now, you will also notice that some of these returns are in fact less than 1, okay? So it's not like Ethereum will always give you a return greater than 1. The dashed line shows you where the return would be above 1 or where it would be below 1. Of course, this does not account for inflation. Now, what's interesting is that if you average this out, like if we've already discretized it by month, but then if you further average it out over every single month, you get what we would expect. Okay, you get this sort of lull in the middle of the year. It looks something like that. So you'll notice that on average, the 90-day ROI of buying in January seems to be about 2.5 or so, maybe almost 3. And we showed this chart over a year ago, I believe, and probably even before that. So what we notice is we say, well, we know if we think back to January, we know in January the price of Ethereum was around $1,000, and hey, 90-day ROI, we were looking over 3x, and well, maybe around a 3x at that time. But you get the idea, okay? You get the idea that you see those higher numbers earlier in the year, typically. But you can also note that there are some years where buying in, say, January doesn't necessarily give you the highest return, especially when the market is bearish. Okay, but we're just averaging it out again over every single month since Ethereum has been around. So then we look at this phase here, and what do we note is that, well, it tends to be around 1. And that doesn't mean your ROI will be 1. Doesn't mean if you buy Ethereum at like 2,800 or whatever, 2,700, 2,600, doesn't mean that's what the price is going to be in 90 days. It just means that on average, if you took out the average from all of these years, it would be about 1. It'd be about 1. So some years it could be lower, some years it could be higher. But what I would say is I would not expect the summer, the 90-day ROI of buying Ethereum in June to be, 3x or 3.5x, like some of the other things we've seen. It would be a complete outlier if it were. So imagine you were to buy Ethereum in a week. I don't know what the price of Ethereum is going to be in a week. Let's just say 2,500 or 3,000, whatever you prefer. For it to go 3x in 90 days, you'd be looking at a $7,500 Ethereum or a $9,000 Ethereum. I don't see that happening in 90 days. I just simply don't see that. I don't see Ethereum going to those valuations that quickly. So when we talk about the summer prospects, we have to be honest with ourselves and say, well, it is off a major run, and we are sort of seemingly consolidating for a little bit. And I think that we're sort of waiting at this point. We're in a waiting game. We recognize that Bitcoin is king and that Bitcoin will dictate the market. If Bitcoin decides to not put in new all-time highs, or at least to not get back above the bull market support band in the next few weeks, and it continues to either go down or chop sideways, we're probably not looking at a new all-time high for Ethereum immediately. It's very unlikely that we would see it immediately occur. Now, if you go look at, say, the cycle ROI, where the cycle shifted to March of 2020, you see this. And again, you could argue that it's somewhat cherry picking by putting it in March of 2020. But the reason why I'm doing it is because the true bottom back in December of 2018, we just chopped sideways for a long time. Okay, and you also have to remember that this yellow line here is cycle 1. This was basically just when, more around the time that Ethereum launched. And it just simply wasn't around in the bear market before that. And if it were, maybe the bottom would have been in about a year earlier or 9 months earlier. But because it didn't launch until we were really starting to kick off the bull market, it basically just went straight up. So I've shifted it now to be when Ethereum just started moving up for a while. And what you'll remember, if you've watched these videos before, you'll remember that we've broken this down into 3 subcycles: 1, 2, and 3. And so far this cycle, we've generally been moving up. And so we said, okay, this is one subcycle of this current cycle. So cycle 1, 2, and 3 were subcycle 1 here, 2, and then 3, and then this is cycle 4. So basically this was split up into 3 cycles: 1, 2, 3, and then this is cycle 4. And again, these are 1, 2, and 3 are subcycles of one larger cycle. Cycle 4 is a different one. What do you notice? Well, what we would have expected, slightly diminished returns from that impulsive move, and hey, it took longer to get there, right? We got to throw that in there. So slightly diminished, and it took us longer to get there. And so where I sort of see us now is Ethereum is sort of in this holding pattern of, it can sway a few $100s in either direction. Maybe it goes back to 3K, maybe it doesn't. But if Bitcoin really is calming down for a little while here, then it could be the time for Ethereum to sort of reset, to consolidate for a while, and then at some point we'll begin a new leg, just like we began other legs in prior cycles. So that's sort of where I see Ethereum right now. And I'm not expecting, I'm certainly not expecting Ethereum to put in a new all-time high imminently. But I can say that I do still own Ethereum, and I would love to see it go up in the summer. I'm not anticipating a 2 to 3x move like we've been accustomed to over the last 90 days for the last several months. I'm not expecting, Ethereum to go up to these crazy valuations quite yet. I think we probably need some time to cool off in the market, see where the summer takes us, see what Bitcoin does, and then we can reassess where we are and then where we should be headed. So again, hopefully this summer we were able to consolidate. In my opinion, that would be the best thing. Figure out where we can actually find some true support and then build off that. And then once we've found whatever our new support level is, then maybe we can make a run at 10K. Until then, I would be somewhat skeptical about the immediate ability for Ethereum to make a run at 10K. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Remember to check out the sale on the premium list. If you want to know how I'm navigating these markets, you can find a link to that in the description below as well. Thank you guys for tuning in. Definitely subscribe to the channel. Let's go for 450,000 subscribers. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Bye.